Hello everyone. Please comment, rate, subscribe, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos. I want to thank you folks for watching, liking, and sharing my videos. You people are the absolute best. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. I am back. Been hard at work. I know I've been away for a little bit, but first, before I start talking about the Jets, I just want to let everybody know, hey, whatever you got going on, I know it's a crazy time out here right now. With all that we're dealing with in the world, I'm hoping that everyone stays safe, stays healthy. I hope your family stays safe and stay healthy as well. And we'll get through it together. So, I know it's tough. I know that, like I said, I know there's a lot going on out there, but, I'm hoping everybody is good. My thoughts and prayers are with everybody. So please, please stay safe out there, people. So with that said, I want to kind of switch modes. I want to talk about the Jets. I want to talk about some of the free agency signings that we've done. In this particular video, I'm just going to talk about the offensive side of the ball. I'll have another video for the defensive side of the ball and kind of talking about my thoughts about some of the things we did in free agency there. But here again, I'm only going to talk about the offense. So getting right into it, first thing I want to start was with our offensive line signings. We were able to get Van Rotten, who's a guard, got him in for 3 years. Decent guy. There was a lot of names out there before free agency started that I think we all were excited about. I talked about a Jack Conklin. Glasgow was out there. A lot of people were screaming for him as well. But I think as free agency kind of went on, we all kind of started to see that Joe Douglas is not interested in, really kind of spending. He was a guy that kind of, was a little bit frugal with some of the things that he was doing. And so we saw that he brought in guys where at least I am still kind of wondering, are we better at our offensive line? Yeah, we have some guys, but I mean, some of them have question marks surrounding them. And I'll continue to go through the list. So Van Rotten, we brought in Connor McGovern, who I thought was a solid signing. I definitely think that's, a fairly decent upgrade there at center. So I think that's a solid signing. Alex Lewis was brought back. Decent guard, So, I mean, he was on the line last year. He had some struggles in some games as well where he was getting beat, but he was okay. But the big question mark for me is the signing of George Fant at left tackle. You would think, okay, you look at Fant, what he's done. I watched him when he was in Seattle. I wasn't necessarily impressed. He was on the line. After he got hurt, he came back, and he was behind Jermaine Ifedi. Jermaine Ifedi was not a good right tackle. Not good, not good. Penalty machine issues. He could not beat him out to become a starter. They would often put him on the field as a sixth offensive lineman. It was things just weren't working. He could never get back in that left tackle spot either because Brown, the guy that they made a move for, just was completely beating him out. He could never win that job back. And so it was just issues there. And so we find ourselves with him here now. And this is a guy I think that has big question marks around him, a big wild card. And I think it's because if he is horrific, if he continues to play or is worse than he was in Seattle, we're going to have major issues along the line. Because right now it looks like he's paid to be a starter. As of right now, he's looking like he's going to be the starting left tackle because we don't really have an answer there. Now, there are some things that we can do, and two of the things that we can do is we can draft a left tackle. Here's the problem, or here's something that could definitely complicate that situation is we're sitting at 11 right now. If we want to take one of the left tackles, I'm all with it. I've been saying, hey, we should definitely draft a left tackle in the draft for forever. The problem is there's 4 top left tackles. We're sitting at 11. There's teams ahead of us that could definitely use tackle help that could end up taking one of those kids. So we could be sitting at 11 and miss out on them. And then it's like, how do you adjust that position then, Then the question becomes, do you want to trade up for a left tackle? We're kind of limited on capital. We're still trying to build this football team. We still have holes there. So, how do you solve this issue? So you'd hope that you would still be able to sit at 11 and get a left tackle, but again, that could definitely, not come to fruition, especially due to the fact there's teams behind us as well that could jump us and end up taking one of those tackles as well. So waiting for the draft, that could could turn into, kind of a complicated situation. But then there's also a guy out there, Trent Williams, who I've been screaming about as well for us to trade for quite some time. But the problem is starting to be coming with the Redskins. They seem to be looking for a certain type of value for him that most teams aren't willing to give up until this point, to this very point. Now maybe we make a trade, a couple of hours after this video gets posted. But up until this point, we have not been willing to give up what the Redskins want. Of course, Trent Williams also wants, a little bit more money and make a new extension on his contract, which, from everything that his camp has said, his agent has said, hasn't been too crazy. But the problem is more with the Redskins, and the return that they're asking for, the value that they're asking for back has really, pushed a lot of teams away. So there's been a lot of things going on behind, that as well, playing out publicly more in the media. He's had meetings with the coaching staff, the new coaching staff there in Washington. He's had meetings with the owner as well to continue to reiterate that he's never going to play for them ever again. I mean, he's made it very clear with two regimes that I am never coming back. And honestly, his agent has come out and also said some things publicly as well, kind of speaking to their frustration with the Redskins and the way that they're handling it. So that's kind of a mess there. But that, I think, would definitely be a great position, for us to go to really solve this issue here, because once you get Trent Williams in the building, it really allows you flexibility in the draft as well, where, some people will still say, hey, if a tackle's sitting there when you're at 11, then take a tackle anyway, even though you have Trent, to groom him, put him at right tackle, and you're good. But that also opens the possibility for us to draft a wide receiver. But, anyway, so that's just kind of how we can solve that left tackle position. But as of right now, George Fant is a starter. I don't want him to necessarily be the starter. Even if we do get a left tackle, putting him at right tackle, I think is still, suspect. But again, he is being paid like he's going to be a starter for this football team. So that's one of the guys I have a question mark about. Comment down below. Let me know what you folks think about some of the additions we made to the offensive line, and if you feel more confident in this offensive line now, with Joe Douglas doing what he felt he needed to do in free agency so far. They also added Josh Andrews as well at center, who I believe is just going to be a backup guy, a guy that can, be moved around, versatile guy. So they added him too. But George Fant, to me, is the big question mark here. And so another addition they made, to the offense as well was, hey, we lost Robbie Anderson. I know a lot of people were going nuts about that. Comment down below. Let me know how you feel about that. Lost Robbie, goes to the Panthers, and we bring in Breshad Perriman. 1 year, $8 million deal. Perriman, he's an okay wide receiver. I think that he can bring some things to the table. Is he, kind of an adequate replacement for Robbie and what Robbie would bring to the table? Time will tell. I think he'll be okay. But, losing Robbie, we'll see how they replace that. Again, there's a lot of wide receivers in this upcoming draft. A lot of these young wide receivers could end up giving us, exactly what Robbie, kind of gave us as well. But I know a lot of people are really upset with what Robbie can bring to the table because of the connection that he had with Darnold. And they wanted to see continuity, be continued, between him and Darnold, so bringing him back. But he decided to go elsewhere, and he was offered a contract with the Panthers that he felt like, hey, I need to take this, and he moved forward. And another thing that kind of came out of that as well is that there seems to be a report that was, put out there by Boomer about a supposed offer from the Jets. And he said, hey, this is what they offered. Robbie, kind of balked at it, turned it away, and kept it moving. Robbie comes out and says, no, that is fake news. That is not, I was never offered that. That is not true. Then Robbie's agent comes out as well and says, I have never even heard of that offer even being put on the table. So I want to know what you folks think about that as well, because Robbie, even though, again, he's on his way out the door and he's, there in Carolina now, and I wish him nothing but the best. He said, hey, the Jets didn't offer me anything like that. They did not. So, I moved on with what I needed to do. So, with Perriman being brought to the table, man, I think that, it's a decent addition to the wide receiver core. I think we're still struggling there. I think there's something we'll definitely need to address going forward, particularly in the draft. We're having issues. We don't have a number one. Honestly, Robbie to me was a decent number two. When you look at the number two, you got Quincy Enunwa there. Quincy Enunwa is never healthy, so I don't think you can count on him at all. So I don't even think we have a number two wide receiver. Crowder's our number three. Maybe Perryman fits in to that number. Maybe they'll use him as a number two. Maybe he'll be number four. Who knows where he's going to fit within that? But I still think we're having issues in number one, number two wide receiver. So we still need to give Sam some weapons. We still need to give him someone to get the ball to. And if we don't, man, this is this is gonna be another one of those seasons, man, where we're talking about, what's going on. And again, that rookie year deal, the time just keeps ticking on that deal. So for me, again, the offseason is not necessarily over. It's not over. The draft is still coming. Joe Douglas can still make moves. There's still trades that he can make as well. So I'm not jumping off the Douglas bandwagon. I'm not saying he should be fired. I know a lot of fans are extremely upset with some of the moves that he failed to make, some of the deals that he just couldn't get done, some of the guys that kind of went elsewhere, like I said, Robbie, Jack Conklin, But I want to, continue to see where he's going and continue to see where he's, how he's going to build this football team. So, we just got to continue to see. That's all I can say, because there's definitely some questions. So comment down below. Let me know what you folks think about some of the additions we have offensively. And do you think that we're better? Do you think our offensive line is better, at this point than it was, last season? Do you think that some of the acquisitions, will bode well for Darnold? What are your thoughts about Perryman? I know a lot of people are not big fans, or some people that are. Also, what do you think about losing Robbie Anderson? I know a lot of people are very upset and emotional about, a guy that we were able to get, undrafted, and kind of build him, and then him walking away. So I know people are very upset about that. So again, comment down below. Thank you folks for watching. Please comment, subscribe, folks. Comment, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos. And, again, continue to be safe, continue to be healthy. And I wish nothing but you folks and your families the best. You folks have a good one.